shadowy flight into the dangerous world of a man who is fearless. A young loner on a crusade to champion the cause in a world of reckless automobiles. These are my motovlogs. Tonight we're going to be talking about these Sena headsets. Over the last few days, we've talked about the coronavirus, but tonight we're going to talk about these Sena headsets. A lot of motorcyclists now uses Bluetooth headsets on their motorcycle. The number one brand that's been out for a while has been the Sena prior to 2020. But now you have Cardo who's on the scene. And actually Cardo was the one that came out with the first motorcycle helmets. I mean, the motorcycle headsets. A lot of people don't know that, but Cardo was the one that came out with them first.
Yeah, they went back to I believe it was the 80s, wasn't it?
I'm not sure on the year. Maybe some of these guys out here that's watching this live feed can give us the years when Cardo started and maybe when Sena started. But Sena,
I didn't even know Bluetooth existed in the 80s.
Yeah,
You learn something new every day.
I think it was for military, wasn't it? Wasn't it for military?
Yeah, the original Cardos weren't Bluetooth. They were just they were a communication systems, pretty much the same as the J&M system. It was really made for passenger and rider.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think they were all that good though.
okay.
The new Pack Talk is that's a whole new thing for Cardo.
Right. So everybody is on, and everybody here pretty much rides a motorcycle. Mark, what year is your motorcycle? What do you have? A Goldwing?
Yeah, I've got a 2017 ABS Goldwing.
2017.
Full loaded.
Okay, 2017.
The only thing it doesn't have is it doesn't have the airbag.
Okay, so you got the level 3.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and Jason, what year you got, Jason?
It's also a 17 level 3.
Level 3. What about you, Wes?
I got a 2012 level 3. And to speak on when Cardo started, it actually was in 2003, and they started with the Scalera.
Okay, the Scala Rider.
Scout.
Yeah,
Okay,
the Scala
okay.
Rider.
Yeah. And what you riding, Charles?
Yeah, 2019 BMW GTL 1600.
The BMW.
BMW.
Like I said, we'll ride with you. Don't matter if you're riding a BMW or a Harley Davidson or a Goldwing. We'll still ride with you.
His pocket's long, man. He riding a BMW. His pocket's long.
Yeah.
That means I'm working a little bit extra. That's all that means.
Oh, you want an oil change? That's $850.
Yeah, that's hey Mark, you can't take the money with you.
Yeah, I know. That's why I don't store fortunes here on Earth.
What year is your Goldwing, DeCarlos?
I'm riding a 2013 F6B.
2013 F6B. And JC, what year is your Goldwing?
I have a 08 level 1. 08.
08 level 1.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So pretty much everybody rides motorcycles who's joining us on this live feed. We all use headsets. I started out actually with the Senas, and for a long time I pushed Sena, and I talked about how good they were. And at the time they were pretty good to me, and used them for quite a long time. And since then I actually switched over to the Cardo. I had the Sena SMH5, and then I switched over to the Sena SMH10. I want to give you guys my apologies. Anyway, I thought I had it with me, but I still have my Sena. I originally started out. Can you guys see that?
Yep.
I started out
with original version.
Yeah, I started out with the Sena 20S, and for a while it did real good for what I needed it to do. But I was having so many problems out of this Sena that I didn't know what else to do, and moved up to the Sena 30K. And some of you guys probably have the Sena 30K. I see you there, Mark, giving the thumbs down. I see Wes also has the Sena 30K as well. But now I'm rocking with the Cardo, and I find that this is the best headset for me in the application that I use it. But it's a lot of people out there that has invested in the Sena, and they still rocking with Sena, and you know that's fine. But from the riders that I've talked to, most people that I know, they had a lot of problems out of the Senas, and now Sena is coming up with this new 50 series, and they actually taking pre-orders on certain websites. I generally buy a lot of my products on Revzilla, and Revzilla is taking pre-orders for the 50 series. If you go to that website and look at the 50 series, it looks just like the Sena 30K. The only difference it looks like is the jog dial in the some color. They put some grayish paint on the 30K. So I posted up today saying that if you guys want to go to the Sena 50 series, be my guest. I'm not going to be fooled with fresh paint and a new jog dial. I'm sticking with my Cardo. That's what the Caliente riders are going to be sticking with. And
You know what they say, if you put lipstick on a pig, it's still a pig.
Just out of curiosity, what is it supposed to do?
What is okay? Before we do this here, Sena just came out with a commercial, and they came out with a commercial, and so what we're gonna do? I'm gonna play the video of the new 50 series that's supposed to be coming out. Here we go.
Connected.
And that was some advertisement that Sena used to kind of launch off their new 50 series that's supposed to be coming out sometime this year. You know, generally when they announce it, it generally takes them about a year, anywhere from 6 months to a year to actually drop that new headset. And the commercial looks good.
Nice smoke show.
Yeah, you know, smoke and mirrors. It looks good. You know, it looks real good. And I was actually impressed with the commercial. But the reality,
be impressed with.
But the reality is that you know, I haven't had a lot of luck. I haven't had a lot of success using the Sena 30K. Let me ask some of you guys that use the Sena 30K. What's been your experience? And I want to start out with Mark. What's been your experience with the Sena 30K, in your opinion?
When we initially were switching, the club that I ride with, they're a bunch of older gentlemen that have primarily used CDs for communication. And a lot of them ride Harley touring bikes. And when I first joined the club, my brother-in-law and I pulled up on our bikes, and we were communicating with our Bluetooth headsets, which at the time were the 20Ss. And these guys were asking us, well, how do you communicate? Well, we don't use CBs, we use these Bluetooth headsets. And so through a series of rides, we do weekly rides, the conversation came up, and one of our members decided he was going to buy and donate 14 30Ks to the club. So I was tasked with doing the research on it. And one of the things I wanted to know is it compatible with the FreeWire? Because if it is, most of these guys are riding touring bikes, the Harleys, that have the 7-pin DIN on them. And Sena makes a FreeWire for a Harley Davidson with the 7-pin DIN connection. So everyone that I talked to, I called Sena technical support, which don't do that because it's a waste of time.
Right.
Wes is laughing. He knows. Wes knows. And so anyway, and even the people that I talked to that were going to sell the devices to us, they said, "Yep, it's compatible with the FreeWire." And so the decision was made that they were going to go with the FreeWire. I tried to convince them to go with the 20S because it was tested and true, and I knew it worked. But they decided they wanted to go with the better one because it also had the mesh.
Right.
And so, I'm like the technical guy in the club, and I'm the one who had to put together all the training to teach all these old guys who are used to just a PTT. Now they have to pair, they have to turn jog dials, and it's just all French to them. And it's been a huge curve, a learning curve, and we never really got past it. And so the problem that I had with the 30K is if I am riding my motorcycle by myself and I am connected to my 30K, everything works fine. If I have a CB, I'm assuming it'll work. I don't have one on this bike, but I did on my 06. Everything works fine. You get turn by turn through the headset. Then when I'm riding next to my brother-in-law and we turn on our 30Ks to put the mesh on,
right,
and then try to listen to our music and turn by turn, the system completely shuts down. We tried it with Bluetooth, the system shuts down. And we tested it. We trust me. You have to trust me. I just did a lot of extensive testing and communication, and it was determined that the 30K is not compatible with the FreeWire. And so anybody who's thinking about buying a 30K that's going to use a FreeWire, if you're going to use it solo and you're not going to communicate with anything, go ahead and buy one. But if you plan on talking with other people or even have a two-up passenger, it's done. It's not going to work. It just not. I think it's because of the dual processor technology, the Bluetooth versus the mesh technology that they are using. It's just not compatible. The FreeWire doesn't know what to communicate with.
right,
And you don't have that issue with the 20S because the 20S is just a Bluetooth communicator,
right,
Bluetooth headset. And actually the 20S was designed specifically to work with the FreeWire.
correct,
The 30K wasn't, and I'll bet dollars to pesos right now that the 50S or the 50R is not going to be compatible with the FreeWire. If they're using the same platform, it's not going to work. But it's just amazing that the 50S came out so quick after the 30K, and we were told that the 30K, they're going to do some software updates. I don't believe it's a software issue. I believe it's a hardware issue.
right,
And they just won't tell anybody.
right.
So,
And
so Mark, I had a little different experience with the 30K, but I ride with my music coming through my bike. So I don't do a lot of things like you do through your headset. So I didn't experience a lot of those problems. And then everybody I ride with all have the 30K. And it's just me and my wife. I'm not looking for navigation through, through the 30K. So I pretty much had a successful time with the 30K. I have used it with my FreeWire, but it was just only me. I wasn't connected to anyone. It was just me using the free Wi-Fi.
Right. And you know what? I'm not going to knock the 30K completely, because every headset there's a different, a different user for the headsets. Like if you want, I don't like to listen to my music through my speakers, but with the 30K, I'm forced to do that,
Right.
because I have to turn the mesh on, and then everything has to come through. My navigation has to come through my outside speakers.
Gotcha.
And that's not what I want. I want everything to come through my headset. But some of the guys didn't mind it, because if I'm leading a group and I have my navigation on,
Mm-hmm.
and I have the navigation turn by turn coming from my speakers, then they're hearing it coming through my mic.
Yep.
So they know what the turn's coming up, but that's not the way it's supposed to work.
Right.
It's not, I want it to work the way they say it's going to work.
Right.
And it doesn't.
Right.
And,
so I started.
So for you, the 30K works.
Right. So I started with the 10C. And I don't know if you guys saw the video when I was riding.
10C or 10S?
I mean the 10C. I mean the
10S.
Yeah.
The 10S.
So, yeah, with the video camera.
Oh, no, that's a 10C.
That's a 10C.
10C. 10C, yeah.
So when me and Chris, when Chris came to Washington, D.C., that's what I used most of the time. And it was raining so bad, as soon as we got back to D.C., it went out on me. Haven't been able to get, any parts for it or get it fixed. So I had the 30K already, because that's what I ride with my wife with. But I usually have the 10C most of the time. And, that thing went out on me, but it worked flawlessly. It was like the old 20S. So I never had a problem with it connecting. But like I say, after riding in the rain, it was done.
Yeah. I have a 10C Pro with the camera, and I really like the 10C Pro. What I don't like is I'm only able to get like maybe an hour of video time out of it before the camera goes dead.
Yeah.
And then even when I tried to plug it into the mini USB port with a power bank to get it to go, which Sena says if you plug it in that way, it'll work again. It doesn't. It has to charge up. And I think when Sena made the 30K, what they did was, rather than use the 20S Bluetooth part of it in their headset, they used the 10S, and that only allows 4 people to connect, right. Whereas the 20S allows 8, and really it doesn't, because if you ever use a 20S, and I don't know, Chris, maybe you can chime in here, because I know you ride with large groups. It's been my experience that if we have more than 3 riders on a HD 8-way intercom on the 20S, any more than 3 riders, you start start getting the crackle and pop, and it's just not a really good connection.
Yeah, that is correct, Mark. A lot of people may not realize that once you get over 4 riders on Bluetooth, the connection becomes unstable, and you'll start getting that snap, crackle, and pop. If you keep the numbers under 4, you're gonna be fine. So if you have just a rider and a passenger, it's gonna work perfectly. If you pair another couple, it's gonna work perfectly. Now they actually advertise on the Sena 20S that you can connect up to 8 riders, but out the 4 helmets are connected, the Bluetooth becomes unstable, and it's gonna start snapping, it's gonna start crackling, it's gonna start popping, and it's just gonna sound terrible. So I've done a lot of group rides over the past few years, and it works fine for a smaller group, but when you're getting into a larger group, I mean, it's just terrible. I mean, it's hard to make out the audio. If you get everybody connected, then you're gonna have a problem with staying connected. So and also one thing I would like to point out as well is that with these headsets, whether you use a Sena 20S or a Sena 30K, or whether you use a Cardo Pack Talk Bold, everybody needs to have the same headsets. I know that's impossible, because a lot of times what these Bluetooth companies will tell you, even Cardo, they'll tell you that our headsets will pair to another brand. you know, our Senas were paired to a Cardo, and our Cardos were paired to a Sena, and you know, and so on. But the reality is that everybody really has to have the same headset in order for everything to work as it should. Because when you start mixing and matching a Cardo with a Sena and a Sena with a 30K, and it becomes a problem. And you know, you're trying to connect a U clear, and it's a problem. So everybody just needs to try to have, and it's virtually impossible to do. But with my group, the Caliente Riders, I encourage everybody to just get a Cardo, and if they elect to just ride with a Sena, I'm not going to connect to them because I know how bad the connection is going to be. So the bottom line is this: whatever you're rocking with, whether it's a Cardo or a Sena or a U Clear or whatever you're riding with, everybody needs to have the same headset. And you know, that's just my personal opinion, but it's hard to do because you got a lot of guys, they may go shopping online and they may see something online for $50 and say, wow, this, you know, it's a good deal, and buy it. Now, when you try to bring that into the group and everybody got a Cardo or something, now you're trying to connect this off-brand Bluetooth headset to a Cardo, you know, and it's just, it's awful. So the bottom line is this, in my opinion, everybody needs to have the same headsets. But as for me and the Caliente Riders, we're rocking with Cardo.
Not to cut you off, Chris. I got a question outside of Chris. Who is anybody going to try the 50K?
I don't intend to.
No.
Negative.
I see everybody got the bobblehead.
Is anybody going to try the 50K? You know, that's a very good question, Charles. I'm glad you brought that up. I want you guys to, you know, we're going to kind of take a look at, let's take a look at the Sena's website and what they're actually showing on this Sena 50 series. And hopefully you guys can see this.
I
already looked at it.
I may not have mine hooked up right. I don't see your computer, what you're showing, Chris.
Okay, well, if you get on Facebook Live, you can see it.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Okay,
Gotcha.
right. You know, it's advertising a Mesh 2.0, a robust communication connection. It also advertises HD speakers, clarity, sounds you hear, multi-language support. It says connect to a Wi-Fi adapter to fully charge and update the unit. And as you go down their website, it just points out the specifications: the Mesh 2.0, Bluetooth 5.0, also HD speakers, voice commands. It's supposed to work up to 1.2 miles or 2 kilometers, multi-way intercom, Wi-Fi update, so you can update it via the Wi-Fi. It has advanced noise control, FM radio, and it's remote control compatible. Okay, now let's take a look at the Pack Talk board and see what it's, you know, kind of showing on their website as well. Looking at some of the specs, giving some general information. The compatibility is universal, operating temperature, FM radio, 6 preset memory stations, firmware upgrades. It has the Cardo app, and it also just lists other information like the dimensions. It's waterproof, IP67 waterproof. The connectivity, 2 channels, 1 for mobile phone and GPS, Mesh 5.1, Bluetooth 4.1. And it just goes down with the, it goes down a list of some of the specs on it. So when I look at the specs on the Cardo and I compare it to the specs on the Sena 50 series, to be honest, I'm not that impressed with the specs on the Sena 50 series, because like we said earlier, Sena didn't correct the problems with the 30K. So now you're coming out with a Sena 50 series, and it's supposed to be better than the Sena 30K. So, you know, I'm not convinced. You know, I believe in if you know something works, you want to go with what works. And for me, the Cardo works. The specifications on that new 50 series, it just really doesn't impress me. I mean, not enough to make me want to go out and buy it, in my opinion.
Well, one of the things that I also read with the 50 series, and if for anybody who's watching right now, if they're unaware how the mesh works on the 30K, the mesh works under 3 different mesh modes. You can either be in a public mode, you can be in a private mode, or you can be in a guest mode. And as a guest, you can listen, but you can't talk. In a private mode, you can have up to 16 people on one private mesh where only 6 people can communicate at a time. And the same thing in a public mode. You can have more than 16 people on there, but only 6 people can talk at a time. And what the 50S is saying is that in addition to that, they're going to have 9 different channels that you can be on so that you can switch between the channels to different groups. So, you know, if you're on the fly and you've got 3 different, let's just say you have 30 riders on a ride, and you bust them up into groups of 10, and you have 3 groups. Well, each group can be in its own channel, and you can go in between channels to all the different groups. And, you know, this is just an exercise in insanity. I think what Sena is doing here is they're just, you know, trying to build a new product, trying to do something, you know, with a different result. And, you know, I'm going to let someone else spend the money on it and tell me what they think.
Go ahead, Chris. Go ahead and buy one, Chris.
You know what?
That's why I said in your post earlier, hey, if Sena will send me a demo, I will test it and give you a real world opinion and review of how it works.
Yeah, I could get a hold of one of those Senas. You know, I have some contacts over there. I can probably get a hold of one of those Senas when they come out.
But Chris, the only thing with getting a hold of one of them, you know, who else is gonna have one?
Right.
You beat me to the punch, Wes. That's what I was alluding to. Even if which I can get one, and even if I get one, you know, who am I gonna test it with? So that means I gotta have at least 2. I gotta have at least another biker, and you know, going back. I mean, I don't know, man. I'm gonna stick.
And after they see this podcast, they may not give you anything.
Well, they may not, you know. And one thing about my channel, Wes, I try to keep it honest, man. And sometimes people, you know, I think people can respect when you're honest more so than when you're pretending or you're telling people what they want to hear. I believe I'm like this here. Tell me the truth. If I go to the doctor, you know, doctor, tell me what's going on. If something is wrong, tell me. You know, don't sugarcoat it. Just let me know so I'll know how to deal with it. You know, what's my option. So, you know, when it comes to my channel, this live feed, I just want to give people the right information, and they may not like it. You know, a lot of times, even when I talk about the 2019 or the 2018, you know, people get offended, but I think at the end of the day, people want to hear the truth, you know. Right. But, you know, quiet as it's kept, some people rather hear a lie than the truth. But I just try to keep it honest and just try to just share my experience and my knowledge about this stuff, because I'm out here using it, you know. At the end of the day, the experts can say it'll have a 2-mile range, but I actually go out here and test it. You see what I'm saying? So, but anyway, I want to ask the Carlos what's been his experience with the 30K, because I think you own the 30K, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I got one, and I pretty much ride solo. So when I hooked it up to my phone, trying to listen to my music through it, it just kept dropping, and then the sound quality was horrible, and I just didn't have a good experience with it. And the time that me, you, and Jason rode to Salina, I dropped off a few times. I think I was the only one who had a 30K at that for that ride anyway, and I dropped off a couple of times, you know. So it's just, I hadn't had a good experience with it, so I put it in the closet, and, you know, until they make it right, I'm not buying anything Sena anymore. You know, they got a lot of people out here with them 30Ks that, you know, we didn't get no software updates. They're not, you know, trying to give us our money back, or, say, hey, trade it in on a new 50 S or 50R. So I'm pretty much done with it, but I've had a horrible experience with it, man. So I put it in the closet real quick. It don't take me long to change my mind about something, and it wasn't what it was. I read about it, did my research on it. I listened to you talk about it, and I made the move and bought it, and it just didn't work out for me. And like I said, I ride solo, and if you can't keep a Bluetooth connection, as far as me listening to music, then it ain't worth keeping. So it's in the box. I'll sell it real quick. I'll sell it. So anybody who want to buy it, I'll sell it.
Okay. And also, let me point this out to anybody that's watching this this live feed. We're not here to bash Sena, because I know somebody's thinking, oh, they're just bashing Sena. They haven't even gave the 50 series a chance yet. It hadn't even come out. Matter of fact, one of my viewers had posted today, and we was kind of talking back and forth, and I guess he might have felt a little bit offended, because I think he felt like I wasn't giving the Sena 50 series a chance. It hadn't come out yet, and I'm already holding up Cardo and telling people I'm not going to buy Sena. So the reason why I'm bringing this up, because we're not here to put down Sena. We're not here to bash Sena. We're not here to tell people not to buy it. For a long time, that's all I did is endorse Sena. I put out over 900 videos, and probably 700 of those videos are probably Senas. So I'm not here to bash Sena. Like I said, I still got my old Sena SMH10.
Mhm.
You guys can see that I still have it. I still have my Sena 30K. Okay. I still have my Sena 20S. So I just want people to know I'm not here to bash Sena. If a product is good, I'm going to rock with it. I'm going to go with it. But once I moved over to the Cardo, it just outperforms my Sena products. I mean, that's the truth. I mean, I can tell you what you want to hear, or I can be honest with you. The Cardo just outperforms it in each and every way. It outperforms it in clarity. It outperforms it in range. It outperforms it in connectivity. It outperforms it with the app pairing. It just outperforms it in each and every way. So in my opinion, I'm not looking, I don't think I can go even higher getting a Sena and compare it to the Cardo. I'm satisfied with the Cardo. And but I'm sure it's a lot of people going to go out and buy it. I'm sure a lot of people are going to, they're going to be impressed with the new paint, and they're going to be impressed with the new jog dial. And just because it's new, just because something is new doesn't make it better.
But Chris, I tell you, if they gave all of us with 30K as a rebate, say, hey, I'll take 150 off, and I would try the 50S. I would try.
Right.
If they did that,
I was getting ready to ask you guys that.
Yeah,
but they'll never do that, because then they'll have to acknowledge that their 30K was an inferior product.
And they should, though. They really should. I mean, because that 30K it's not right, man. That was supposed to be their top of the line, and 2 years later, they got something else coming out already. So they know it's not right, but they're not trying to make it right. And I watched a video on YouTube the other day. It was from RevZilla. They did a best comm systems for 2020.
Right.
No Senas made the list at all. None.
That's correct.
Yeah, I watched that. I believe they said Cardo is still the way to go.
Yeah, they said Cardo was the best headsets for 2020.
Yeah.
They got issues that they need to address them, and they need to start with people who bought that 30K. They need to make it right by us, because we spent a lot of money, and that was supposed to be the top of the line. The all's the end all, and mine's in a box on the shelf.
Well,
I have a question. I might ask somebody, if anybody knows the answer to this. What is the difference between the 50S and the 50R?
Sleekness. It has a smaller profile, but it does everything the same. It's just like that I think the Cardo has one that's out also for the Pack Talk Bold. That's just a slimmer version.
Okay, it's like
The
the
Pack
slim.
Talk Slim, like I showed Charles earlier.
Mhm.
Yeah,
That's all it is.
Carlo, right? Carlos, what helmet do you have the slim mounted on? What brand helmet is that?
That's a HJC IS 33. It's the open
Yeah.
face.
I love that helmet.
Okay.
Yeah.
How
I'll
do
tell
you
you
like
something.
that one?
What'd
Hey,
you
Jimmy,
say?
it's just a matter of red lipstick or pink lipstick. The difference between the two.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. And I'm glad you brought that up about the best headsets of 2020. I also talked about that in my video where I talked about the best headsets of 2020, and it's official that Cardo is the best headset of 2020. So I'm going to play a little video to see what Revzilla actually said about the Cardo. So let's just watch this little video and see what you guys think.
Brandon, what is the final category of the day?
All right, now we're diving into our final pick, which is the best communication unit of 2020, and the winner is right here. This is the Cardo Pack Talk Bold, and we're going to cover the Pack Talk Slim as well. Now, the Cardo Pack Talk Bold and Slim with the JBL speaker upgrade have become our go-to units around the Revzilla office. Personally, I've owned this thing for over a year now. It's in its 3rd edition. This Cardo unit has replaced Sena as the gold standard when it comes to Bluetooth communication.
Yeah, I think a lot of this really comes down to their use of mesh technology, which allows riders to pair with a total of up to 15 other folks in one group, all within up to 1 mile line of sight connection between them. And of course, if you're on a unit that doesn't have mesh technology, you can still connect with these units via a Bluetooth connection. Now, for me, the ease of usability has become the real winner here. If someone does travel outside of range, they become disconnected, all the rider has to do is get back into the riding group and they're automatically repaired with everyone.
Now the downside here, if you're riding with Spurge over here, he's chatty and he always sings in my ear.
I'm not so much chatty, I just like to sing a song. I'm a very fa-la-la-la kind of guy.
He sings a lot. However, it's definitely a beneficial feature. You know, when you don't have to pull over anymore, they just show up, they're gonna reconnect. You know, that was always a pain, so I definitely like that.
It saves a lot of time.
It definitely does.
And the list of features just simply continues. I mean, you have best-in-class noise cancellation, upgraded JBL speakers, voice command technology, which actually has multilingual options, and then up to 13 hours of talk time. There's a lot going on here.
Definitely. Now keep in mind that the Bold and the Slim units feature the same technology. Cardo is simply offering riders the option to choose between the full-size Bold, which you see here, as well as the Slim version, which actually separates the battery and cuts down on some of the wind drag because it's a little bit more low profile. Now there's no difference in cost between the 2 units, and they're coming in under $300, and of course you can get a dual pack and save a few dollars there.
And this is why Cardo wins for the best communication device of 2020 with the Pack Talk Bold and the Pack Talk Slim. And that's going to wrap up our top picks for the best Bluetooth motorcycle communication units of 2020.
Now, the analysis doesn't stop here. This year, we are putting together 12 articles on Common Tread that dive deeper into the details of every category across motorcycle.
Yeah, you're going to get to read about our testing, you're going to get to see the gear on riders, and most importantly, you're going to get our honest opinions on what gear deserves your consideration for 2020.
Over here for my...
So yeah, that was Revzilla giving their version of the best Bluetooth communicator for 2020, and I totally agree with Revzilla. The Cardo Pack Talk Bold is the way to go. I want to ask Jason, what's been your experience with the Sena and the Cardo? What, you know, can you give us any information about what you have experienced with that?
Yeah, the 30K was the first one I had. You let me use one of yours on a ride. We went somewhere and ended up buying it from you, and I've still got it. This 30K, and was real happy with it until we took that trip to Texas, and everybody had either 20S or 20 Evos, and I could not get in the group. For some reason, this thing just would not pair with, I forget how many riders we had that day, but I just couldn't get in.
Right.
So luckily, we were going to Cycle Gear, and we got to Cycle Gear, I went inside and I bought a 20 Evo. and it was no problem. Connected with everybody, and it was fine. And then I would still keep the 30K on the bike with me, just as a backup. And then went down to New Orleans, and Teaspoon met me down there, or Lafayette. Teaspoon met me over there with a group he was with, and they all had 30Ks.
Right.
They had their mesh connected, and for some reason I couldn't get in the mesh with them with the 30K.
Right.
So I eventually just stayed with the 20 and was real happy with it, and never used the 30K again. Just put it up and didn't go back. I just didn't have good use out of it. And then even with the 20 Evo, when we get a bunch of people together, you know, you would have half the group would drop off, and you would have to find where the link broke and get them to tap back in. And,
Right.
you know, it's always a problem. But with these Cardos, it's been really great. We don't have that problem now. They automatically connect. You can connect each other through the app. I just haven't had a problem, any type of downside so far with the Cardo. And the more I use it, the more I like it. And
Yeah.
it's pretty much hands-free. Once you turn it on, you don't have to touch it again.
Right.
Use voice commands or the app to do anything you want.
Right. Yeah. Now, and I love my Cardo as well. And it's a couple of things that Cardo can do to make the unit better. You know, they can put some bigger buttons on it. You know, because a lot of times when you're riding with gloves, it's hard to find the button. So it's little things like that can always, make some small improvements. But as far as the connectivity, as far as the range, as far as the clarity, man, you just can't, it's just hard to beat the Cardo. I mean, I just don't know.
And battery life too. I
Yeah, the
find
battery
battery life is a lot better on these Cardos than the Senas were. The Senas aren't bad, but this Cardo has been better.
Yeah. And one of the things I like about it is that when you're riding, you can just say the voice command, "Hey Cardo, battery status," and it's going to automatically tell you what your battery status within the helmet. So, you don't have to stop and look at your LED lights or try to figure out, how long you've been riding or how much time you actually have left on that battery. You can just, announce, "Hey Cardo, battery status," and it's going to come within the helmet instantly, and it's going to tell you what your battery life is. And it's also Bluetooth. So I just like the Cardo. I have nothing but positive things to say about it. I mean, it can use some small little upgrades. One thing about me, I don't care what I buy. I'm going to always try to make it better. Same thing with the Cardo. I wish it had some bigger buttons on it, but you can do everything within the app that you can do on the phone. So you really never have to touch your Cardo. So, so it just depends on who you ask, but I just think the Cardo is just far superior. And one thing I would like to do is actually open up the phone lines. I know we got a lot of people that's joining us live here today, that's listening to this live video cast. And if any of you guys have any questions or you would like to call in, I'm gonna go ahead and open the phone line right now. The line is 901 area code 468-9032. If any of you would like to call in and maybe share your experience about your Sena or your Cardo or anything you would like to say here live on the Caliente show, the phone line is wide open, 901-468-9032. If any of you guys would like to get in on this live feed.
I think I'm gonna stipulate that the Cardo is probably the better product. But what I will say is if you are looking to get full functionality out of your 5-pin DIN or 7-pin DIN, then the best product for you to have is the 20S Evo with the FreeWire. But if you don't care about any of those other things, then it sounds like Cardo has really got their stuff together. They have a product that's dialed in. And if you don't care about any of those other things, which I do, then it sounds like the Cardo is the way to go.
Yeah.
Now, the sound quality is really good on these 30Ks and the noise canceling. Now, that's really good. The voice commands is not as good as the Cardo, but they do work. I mean, they all have their faults and their good points, but technology improves and they come out with, new and better stuff all the time. And I'm glad I went to the Cardo. I mean, right now, it's probably the best thing out there as far as I'm concerned. Now, the 50 may be different. Everything may work like it's supposed to with those 50s. Who knows? But
I ain't gonna pay to find out.
Yeah.
No, right now I don't need to because I've got something that works in every aspect of what I use it for. So, why change?
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did anybody?
But, I'll keep on buying 20S's and free wires until they don't make them anymore because it does what I need it to do.
Did anybody upgrade their speakers on the 30K?
No, I didn't upgrade mine. On the Cardo, I actually went to the 45 millimeter JBL speakers on the Cardo, and I actually
I did too.
I did a video on that. I'll include a link as well if any of you would like to upgrade your Cardo speakers to the 45 millimeter JBL speakers. I did a video on that showing you guys how to go in and just upgrade, making the ear pockets bigger so you can get those 45 millimeter speakers in there. And I absolutely love it. I love the sound of the JBL. My only complaint about Cardo right now, and it's not really a complaint because I always like to make things better. I wish that the Cardo was able to. I wish that Cardo actually made a device kind of like the Sena FreeWire that will allow you to pair your Cardo to it to be able to listen to all of the Gold Wings infotainment on the Honda Gold Wing. Now, I know on the newer wings, the 2018 and newer, they're already Bluetooth. So you can actually pair your Cardo to your Gold Wing. So, but for most of us that's riding the older wings, the GL 1800, we would like to be able to access the Gold Wings infotainment, the CB radio, the intercom, the stereo. We would like to be able to Bluetooth our Cardos directly to the bikes because the Honda Gold Wing, unfortunately, the GL 1800 prior to 2018 is not Bluetooth compatible. It doesn't even have a Bluetooth. So you have to either go in and put your aftermarket Bluetooth in that Gold Wing, or you have to plug in a helmet directly into the bike. So that's one advantage that Sena does have over the Cardo is that you can access all of the Gold Wings infotainment wirelessly, going from the Sena 20S to the Sena FreeWire. So if Cardo is watching this video, and I'm gonna try to send this out there to them, and if they're listening, because they are in this group as well, we are asking for a Bluetooth device that would allow you to connect your Cardo to that device, and that will allow you to access all of the Honda's Gold Wing infotainment for the year models prior to 2018. It's not a problem if you have a 2018 or a 2019, to be able to pair your Cardo to your bike. But on the Gold Wings that most of us have that's in this group and across this country and the world, as far as I'm concerned, most of us have the GL 1800 models. So it would be nice to be able to use your Cardo like you would a Sena.
Chris, I would go buy the Cardo tomorrow, but right now I still ride with a lot of guys who have the 30K and they use the CB radio.
Right.
So in my case, if I'm not able to access the CB radio with the Cardo, it's kind of counterproductive for me.
Right.
I have no, I'm riding with me and my wife with the 30K, and it operates just fine for me. So if they come out with the CB capability, I would definitely go get the Cardo today. Right.
And I spoke with Cardo about that, and you know, I don't know if they kind of brush me off or if they feel like it's not a market out there for GL 1800 riders to be able to talk on their CB radios. I don't know if they think that the CB radios are outdated. And, you know, I don't know. I mean, quiet as it kept,
I believe that's what it is. Really.
Cardo may be working on a device right now that's going to allow you to do that. I mean, you know, we don't know. But I'm going to express back to Cardo, and hopefully that Cardo is watching this video, is that we would like a device that will allow you to be able to communicate from your Cardo to a Cardo type device that would allow you to access all of the Honda Goldwings infotainment on the models prior to 2018. So we're going to go to the phone line. I want to go to the phone line and maybe get the opinion of some of the people that's watching this live feed. If any of you would like to get in on this video, on this live feed, the phone line is open, 901-468-9032. You're on with Caliente, live in the Caliente Garage. Okay, look like our caller hung up. The phone line is wide open, 901-468-9032. If any of you would like to get on right now with the Caliente experts, the panel.
Yeah, Chris, speaking on what I believe it was Carlos that was talking. No, Wes. I like using my CB radio too from time to time.
Right.
You know, but I believe that it's kind of going the way of the dinosaur, but I like it. You know, when I'm riding by myself, I'll talk to the truckers sometimes. But right now I have to use a different helmet.
Right.
I have an Orion helmet with the J&M headset in it. Plugs right into the DIN system on the Goldwing. And even I'm riding with you, I still have my old Sena. I'm going to get a Cardo, but I hadn't ridden it so long. But I will be getting one.
Right.
The last time I rode was when we went down to Canton.
Right.
Was that November or December?
You know what, Jason? I mean, JC, I lose track of time, my brother. I can't remember. I have to go back and look at my.
I got an excuse. I'm getting old.
Yeah. Well, you know,
you still a young man. You supposed to be able to.
Well, you know, quiet as it's kept, I got a lot going on out here in the Caliente Garage. I know you guys are sitting back in your nice chairs, relaxing and watching this feed. But I'm actually working over here, y'all guys. I mean, you know, I'm doing it over here, man, and I have a lot going on. So it looks real easy because I make it look easy, but believe me, it's a lot going on over here. On my end. So the phone line is open. I know you guys been calling me. The phone line is wide open, so we're gonna go to the phone line.
Hey Charles, does that BMW is it Bluetooth?
Stand by, Jason. Stand by, Jason. Go ahead, caller. You're live with Caliente in the Caliente Garage. Go ahead.
Everybody else.
Hold on, stand by. I'm sorry. Go ahead, caller. You're live with Caliente in the Caliente Garage. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is Alan from New Jersey. Hello, everyone.
How you doing, Alan from New Jersey? You on with Caliente live?
Alan.
Caliente Garage.
Hey.
What's on your mind?
Good evening.
Good evening, Alan. What's on your mind?
So I have the S20, and I do a lot of my own riding by myself, so it's not a problem with me. And you know, for my use, it works fine. I don't have a CV or anything like that.
Right.
But the one annoying thing is when you get in a group,
okay,
and because they're chained in, they're single in. If the third person in your chain gets dropped, then everybody behind it gets dropped, and it's really difficult to get them back in.
Yes. Yes, that's one of the problems that I experience when I do group rides with the Sena 20S. Is that, you know, like I said, if I got a passenger on my bike, if the first lady's riding with me, it's fine. It's no problem at all. Everything is great. If I ride with another couple, everything is fine and great. But sometimes one person drops out and it breaks. It's like a chain. The way the Sena works, it's like a chain, and a chain is only strong as its weakest link. So if one link breaks, it separates the chain, and that's what you find. You find yourself trying to reconnect with the Sena 20s if somebody get disconnected, because sometimes with these electronic headsets, you know, sometimes they may glitch or something like that, and somebody may drop off, or you know, you may lose them in a curve or something like that, and it's hard to get them connected back. I have lost people that have rolled with me knows what I'm talking about. When they watch my videos, they only see the good side. They see us going up the road, talking, everybody having a good time. But what they do not see is trying to connect everybody helmets, people dropping out. You know, one person tap in, one person tap out. This guy got a Sena, this guy got a 30K, this guy got a U clear, this guy here got a built. They don't see the madness, and I have lost so much time doing group rides trying to connect helmets. And then once you get them all connected, and once you're rolling down the street, next thing you know, somebody drops off, and now you got another problem.
Yep.
How I have solved this is I bought the Cardo Pack Talk Bowl. The Cardo Pack Talk Bowl, the thing I like about the Cardo is that if one person drops out, it meshes the other headsets together. So no more you tap out, I tap in, who paired up first, let's get into a line. You don't want to get too far behind the group, or, you know, all of the Cardos work together like one big antenna. If one person drops out, it's no big deal. You never miss them because all of the other headsets are meshed together. It's kind of like a spider. It's like a spider web. If one fall out, everything else is still caught into the web.
Right. I was at a Sena presentation dealership by me, and that's what the 50S is supposed to do.
Right.
And it's supposed to be that whole mesh where people come in, people come out. That's, I guess, their answer to the pack talk bowl. You know.
Right.
So,
yeah. And that's the beauty of that the Cardo is that it takes the headache out of trying to get connected. You know, the Sena 30K, the Cardo Pack Talk Bold is what the Sena 30K was supposed to be.
The 30K to me is just a paperweight. That's all.
Yeah. Well, and the thing about it, the new 50 series that comes out look just like. I mean, it may not be the same, but it looks the same as the 30K. So the 50 series and the 30K looks identical. The only difference is with the 50 series, you got a little gray paint on the side, and it's got a new jog dial. But the headsets look differently. Now, that's not to say that the processors inside is different, and the board inside is different. But as far as the outer appearance, it looks the same. I mean, it looks great. I mean, I give it an A on looks, but what about performance? So,
hey, Chris.
Yeah,
we'll see when it comes out. But you know, again, a lot of people invest a lot of money into these units. So, and that's one of the reasons why I don't want to leave. I do a lot of my own riding, again, my own, and you know, my wife and maybe one other person or two other people. So, for my needs, the 20S works fine, and I'm just going to use it till it dies. So.
Okay. Mark, you had something. You go ahead, Mark. You had something you wanted to say?
And the technology with the mesh, what they call it is it's called a self-healing mesh, and that's what eliminates the tap-ins if you drop somebody. The self-healing mesh, if you were already part of a mesh group and you drop out, when you come back in, it just automatically links you back in, and that's the difference between mesh and Bluetooth. But one thing we haven't discussed, and Chris, I don't know if we've ever heard of this. Sena came out with a product called the Mesh Plus. And what it does is if you pair your Bluetooth headset to the Mesh Plus now turns your Bluetooth signal into a mesh signal. And you're supposed to be able to link up with other people that are in a mesh conversation. So I'm curious if that would work.
We tried that.
What's
Now,
that?
my neighbor has one, and
I believe
he
we
said
sponsor.
he said it's a waste of money.
Yeah,
Okay.
Chris.
That's what this page is all about then.
Stand
Saving
by.
money.
He said it's a waste of money. He used it a few days ago, and he said, man, he said, I've wasted my money on this. He said, because he said you still get the snap, crackle, and pop. He said you still get the drop offs. It don't automatically connect back in like it's supposed to. He says just another product, another waste of money.
All
Yeah.
right, guys. Have a good night. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Have a good night.
All right. Thank you, Alan. Appreciate it. The phone lines are wide open. The phone lines are wide open. 901-468-9032. I'm standing by to take your call if you have a question or if you have an experience that you would like to share with the Caliente Riders here live in the Caliente Garage. The phone line is wide open. 901-468-9032. We're standing by to take your call. Go ahead, JC. Was it something you wanted to say?
Yeah, I believe what he was talking about, where you can change a Bluetooth over to a mesh. Isn't that what we tried when we went down to Canton? When we pulled over there and you changed mine over, my 20S, to bring it in, and as soon as we got back on the road, it started snap, crackling.
Yeah. Basically, what happened in that situation is that it was JC and I, and along with I think it was Lady Love and Humdinger, and we was riding. We was gonna ride south, and we all had Cardos. Well, JC doesn't have the Cardo yet. JC has a Sena 20S. Now, Cardo advertises that you can pair a Sena to their Cardo, and you can. That is true. But if you really listen to what Cardo says, it works better in passenger rider scenarios. So in other words, if you pair to a to a Sena, if you pair a Cardo to your Sena, once the bike pulls off, you're gonna get that unstable connection. At least that's been my experience. And you know, with JC, we experienced that. We connected his Sena to my Cardo, and once we got the rolling, I guess about maybe 100 yards up the road, it cracked. It snapped and crackled so bad that we couldn't even stay connected. I actually had to disconnect you on that ride because it was just unbearable.
Right.
So I just
Chris, ain't that called bridging? Is that the same as bridging them in?
Right. Yeah, it's bridging them in.
Right.
When you pair you can bridge them in on the Cardo, rider A or rider B or something like that.
Right.
We bridged them in, but we were still getting that snap, that crackle.
Doesn't work.
I mean, it was terrible. That's why I said that I will not pair my Sena to a Cardo. If I'm gonna ride with some guys with Senas, then I'm gonna put on my Senas. But if I'm riding with my Cardo group, I'm putting on my Cardo. As a matter of fact, I don't even plan on using my Senas. I still have them. Like I said, I'm not trying to bash Sena. I'm not trying to put them down, but I'm just, just letting everybody know, because I actually test this stuff, and Cardo is the way to go. It's been my opinion. So the phone lines are wide open there. I know a lot of people are joining us live right now. Dwayne Ward, Sylvester Middleton, Ed Redding, Mark Meldrum. I see you guys. Rick Nicholson, Eleanor, how you doing? Stephen Bates, Munzer Muhammad, Darren Williams. Just a lot of people is joining this live feed. What's up, Bruce Brents out there in Indianapolis? I know you're my brother. William Taylor, I see you, William, out there in Cleveland. Dustin Waters and Laura. I apologize, I didn't get a chance to ride with you guys today, but the weatherman was calling for rain all morning, so I canceled my ride, and it didn't even rain until about 8 o'clock when I actually started this live feed. So I may have to bring back the Caliente weatherman because he's more accurate. He's more accurate. Y'all, if y'all guys want me to bring back the Caliente weatherman, y'all let me know. So
bring
I got
Yeah, put your 3-piece suit on, man.
Okay. Gaddis joining. We got Brother Cowboy joining us. Live in the Caliente Garage. If any of you guys would like to get on, we're gonna keep this open just a little while longer.
Hey,
901-468-9032. Go ahead, JC.
Yeah, I have another question. I missed the last one, the last meet, but have a question about this COVID-19.
Okay.
If somebody wants to chime in on this, what do you see for the future about, bike rides, with this new thing with, on a motorcycle, social distancing is not a problem because, you're on bikes. But usually on a bike, we're going to some place to sit down in a group, like a restaurant. Restaurants are gone now.
Right.
They're all closed down. So what do you see? Have you what have you thought about that? As far as bike riding, just meetups and stuff like that.
I'm glad you raised that question there, JC. And I've said this even a few videos back. I've been saying it, and I'm gonna keep on saying it. We're in the beginning stages of this COVID-19. We're not even at the midway point. We're sure it's not toward the end. Okay. As more tests becomes available to the public, you're gonna see that a lot of people actually have this COVID-19 virus. I believe, and it's just my personal opinion, I believe that virus has been here. I don't believe it just got here in the last month. I believe it's been here. I believe that they didn't know what it was. They called it an upper respiratory infection. And now they are starting to administer tests. And now they realize what it is that they're dealing with. And more people, as they test more people are going to have it. I think it's a lot of people, maybe even some of your family members or people you work with or people at your church or just everywhere. I think a lot of people already have it. They just don't know they have it because everybody's not going to show symptoms. So as more tests becomes available to the general public, you're going to see that a lot more people actually have the virus. And I think they was reporting on the news just a couple of days ago is that the United States has surpassed some of the other countries that that has this outbreak. China, yeah. Mm-hmm. So it is serious. But as far as the bike riding is concerned, I think a lot of things are going to be canceled. We had a big trip planned this year as well, which we're probably not going to be able to make it. We're not going to probably be able to make it because stand by, caller. We're probably not going to be able to make it because a lot of things are going to be closed. Restaurants are closed. So it's just uncertain. It's uncertainty right now. As far as the bike riding season is concerned, I don't know. I mean, they say that heat actually kills the virus. So as it gets hotter, maybe things will kind of get back to normal. I'm hoping. Our president said, and I'm with the president on this one, I want this thing wrapped up by Easter.